Welcome to the G Factory studio. My name is Tracy G. At 7 years old, the parents said, "You want some musical lessons?" You know, drums really was what it was going to be. My dad was a drummer, and my dad played in a band with his brother, which was called the Grijalva Brothers, and they played all the local wedding receptions and little parties and little bars and stuff like that. So down the street, we went to a music store and to sign me up for drums. I kind of disappeared. They didn't know where I was, and I was over looking at the guitars, and they said, "Oh, are you interested in the guitar?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe we can, if I learn guitar, you play drums, we could like jam together." And my goal someday was maybe to jam with them. So there I went off on guitar. They signed me up with lessons. I'm left-handed, so I really technically should play like this. But the teacher was right-handed, so he put me like that, and I couldn't do it either way, so it really didn't matter at the time. I started taking guitar lessons and, you know, stuck with it pretty good. All the other kids in the neighborhood at school were doing all the kid stuff that kids do, you know, playing, and, you know, I wanted to do all that too, but I would always go back to be practicing my guitar. Not too many kids at my age at that time were playing guitar or learning guitar. Finally, I got good enough to sit in with Dad's group, and on the songs I couldn't play all the chords too, because they'd give me chord charts, and I was only so good at like 10 or 11, 12 years old by then. I would play the congas, which the drums were my favorite thing. So he let me play the bongos or the congas, whatever you want to call them. I would play them, and along with my dad's group on the songs I couldn't read the chord charts. And I kind of actually like that better because I love rhythm first, is my favorite thing, the rhythm. And then on the harder things, I'd play the guitar. And lo and behold, I kept going. And then 15 years old, I was like, I gotta get my own band. So I started doing my own band and getting in my own local groups, parties, backyard parties, bands, getting in my 20s, local bands, started to play the clubs, doing originals. By the time I'm 25, it's like most of my friends had already stopped. They'd always say, if I don't make it before I'm, 25 years old, I'm done. But for me, it was never gonna be done. Like, I was just always gonna keep playing because that's just what I felt I was here for and what I should be doing, because that's where I feel most, at peace and comfortable. And so I wasn't going to stop, and making a living with it obviously is part of it too. It's not that simple of a thing. So I just kept on, exposure, playing as many groups as I could, played in Hollywood a lot. Started to get auditions with bigger groups, name groups, finally making a few auditions that led to meeting other people who played in big bands. It led me to '93. I got the call to audition for a major group, which was Ronnie James Dio's band. Ronnie James Dio, rest in peace, he passed away a few years ago, but I was fortunate enough to get the gig. I'd say it's like winning the lotto, but musically. So if you win the lotto, you're rich. So if you get to play in Ronnie James Dio's band and be the guitar player, you're rich. Musically, for a guitar player, pretty much any guitar player, almost any guitar player on the planet would kill to get that gig, And I didn't think I was going to get it because I never win the lotto, So, and I won it, and I got it. I got 6 years with him, and was able to write everything with him, co-write everything with him, and play with the other musicians in the band, phenomenal players. Got the experience touring all through the '90s, from '93 to '99. Did like 3 albums, 4 albums, two live albums, and 2 studio albums. In '99, I left Ronnie James Dio's band, started to realize, I want to record and produce my own music. I knew how I wanted my guitar to sound. I didn't want to have to go to other producers and engineers and have them get it for me, because I heard it in my head, like how it should sound. So with my own studio here and my own equipment, I just started my own record company, Spooky G label, and I just, since '99, I think I put out maybe 20 of my own CDs with various groups, projects, various musicians, but pretty much learning as I'm going. I'm still learning like to make them sound better, and producing stuff myself. I had never really pursued another big group because I want to have control of the way it sounds, and if my solos are loud enough or the bass is loud enough or the drums, I want to be able to have control of that myself, and because I hear it in my head how I think it should be, and that's what I'm pursuing, trying to make a living doing that. Producing, writing, mixing, mastering, playing live, like what do I like the best out of all that? I think playing live is the best for me because it's the place that I'm able to get to. How can I explain it? Playing live, you can get into the music, and it's like, I guess maybe taking a drug or being drunk or whatever you want to call it. Instead of doing all that, I could just get into the music live and get in that place where I really never want to come back home and just stay in that place until the song's over, and then you got to do the reality thing again. But at least it's a place that I felt and I find that I can go, and I can't really describe it, what it is or what it feels like, except for there's just no bills and there's no problems and there's no unhappiness. It's just you're in the middle of a solo and all the sounds are right, and that's where I want to go. It's like spiritual, whatever. True, this is true. Many times when, especially I'm in a solo, when I'm done with a solo and Ronnie Dio would continue to start singing, I would feel faint for a minute. And I don't mean faint from like because I was drunk or I couldn't breathe. I meant I felt spent or faint. Does that make any sense? Like I felt like empty, like I'm just like completely. And the song's still going, and I had to finish the song. I'd have to catch myself. It wasn't that I was running around the stage a lot or anything. I'm totally just into it, and that's how I play, especially on a big level like Dio, when everything's big, lights, camera, everything's huge. It's so monstrous. Wow! It's so big that when you finish the part, I would feel like I'd have to catch myself for a minute. Yeah, and I think that's because I would get so into it. I would feel extra tired too after the gig, because it takes it. You're throwing it out there. It's leaving you. I don't know the words. Frank Zappa would know the words. So teaching, is a way to make some money, and not to mention the feeling you get when you're helping somebody out musically and you see them progress in front of your face. It's not like I take the credit. I tell my kids, look, I'm gonna help you. You go home and you put the time in. I just tell them what my parents told me and what people told me. Put the time in, and you only get out of it what you put into it. But to see them progress and to give them stuff that you know is gonna help them, there's hardly a better feeling than that. First workshop I did, the kids could come up and jam with us. You gave them a chance to come up and experience playing with the band, not just being taught sitting in their chair. Recently, I just got asked to go and talk to like 20 of the kids, and that was they were just asking me, how I got started and how was it playing in Dio, the regular questions. And that was pretty awesome to be able to talk to. They were like in their 20s, I guess. One of them was like, what are you trying to say when you play? One guy asked me, because I would use that sometimes, say that, I want to get out what I'm trying to say. Well, what am I trying to say? And I had to really think, I'm not trying to say words, like, hey, how you doing? I'm not saying words. It's more like I'm trying to relate like a groove or a feeling or a sound to someone so that it makes them feel something. You have to, you know, really love and have the passion to do what it is you want to do, to stick with it, because there's so many things that'll come your way that'll, you know, veer you off into, you know, not doing it. I always would just sacrifice money and fun and all kinds of stuff to play guitar, because I just think that's my calling. That's what I do. That's what I do best, and that's what puts a smile on people's face, the ones that get what I do, and that makes it worth it for me. So sacrifices are huge, you know. I'm fortunate to have a family that's backing my passion, and not everybody has that, but I do. So I just, you know, thank God and thank my family. Sticking to your guns, being yourself always meant a lot to me, and peer pressure, everybody going that way, so I'll go that way. Everybody getting tattoos, so I'll get tattoos. Everybody smokes, so I'll smoke. Why don't you have any tattoos, Tracy? Why don't you smoke, Tracy? Why aren't you a drug addict, Tracy? Because everybody else is. In my field of music, pretty much, that's just the common thing. And I don't want to be common. I want to go the other way. People will laugh at you. People will think you're goofy, you're a nerd, you're a geek. That makes me stronger. That I always like. To this day, when someone says, you suck, I hate the way you play, I love that. It makes me happy. It makes me smile. It gives me more strength to go the other way. They always say music is a universal language. They say that, I guess. But you know, it is, because I've walked into places or gone to parties and said, bring your guitar. 6 guys are up there, sit in, there's an amp. We're gonna play this song by, I don't know the song. I said, what key is it in? We'll tell you when to play. I'm like, go. And you just start playing with these guys. It's not about even knowing them personally, but they're playing in a key, they're playing with a certain beat, they're playing with certain chords and a certain sound, and you start jamming with them and fitting in there, and you don't even have to say anything. You don't have to say anything to them, and that's the beauty about the whole. Music is heavy. It's a heavy thing. Life without music would just totally suck. I wouldn't even probably want to be here. It's just, I mean, it's just such a, I just don't know it any other way.